Good morning all, how are we? It's a little bit fresher Rooney today in the workshop. We've got a, what is it? A 2011 Seat Leon 1.2 TSI with a couple of fault codes. Let me just go back. We've got charge, air pressure, mechanical function, charge, air pressure, actuator, adaptation not started, and turbo supercharger under boost. There we go. Now the cause of the problem is here. Now it's quite obvious what this fault is. What I'm going to do is jump on the ignition now and you're going to see it for yourself. What I've done is put a little blue line so you can see that actuator moving. If I jump on the ignition now, you should hear this make like a funny noise. And there we go, that is a noise and the fault that is happening to this vehicle. Right, let's get it involved and get it removed. First thing we need to do is remove this heat shield off the exhaust. Now I have undone two of them, but there is two right down there which are a little bit fiddly and I think they're going to round, but we're going to have a little look. Now you don't really need to take all this heat shield off. You can leave it in place because it's a little bit tricky. It's down there underneath pipes and God knows what. But there was two bolts right down the front which I thought were seized, and they were. So what I've had to do, you can't really see it, I've had to get my air chisel, make sure the tip of it is nice and sharp, and just give it a good few pop, 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 and it did come undone. But anyway, what I've done is put a little bag behind that little heat shield so we can get down now to the little wastegate arm, and there's a little horseshoe clip on it which we do have to just pick off, and then that actuator then can come straight out. Now be extra careful when you unhook that horseshoe clip because it will be gone forever if you lose it. Now once you've taken that off, we can just undo this actuator now, pop it out of the turbo itself, unplug it, and there is two 10mm holding the actuator to the turbo, and that now is pulled straight off. Now my old boss used to say to me, if it was put together it could be taken apart, so that's what I've done. Now does anybody else like to take stuff apart if it's failed? I like to see why it's failed. Now if we have a little look at these gears in here, now they are plastic, got a stupid design. Right by there is a tooth missing, so it's just being opened, and you can see it's not catching, and that is causing all our problems. Now we have got a new one coming from Chester TPS about 12:30, but this car is also having a oil and filter as well. Finally, the brand new one has turned up from Chester TPS. I'm going to get this fitted, and in the box as well they do give you a little bit of a fitting kit. Remember when I said not to lose them little horseshoe clips? Well, they do send you 3 in a packet because they just know you're going to drop them. Anyway, right, let's get it fitted. Now before we put it back to the vehicle, because these are fairly prone for seizing on the ends there, we just put a little bit of grease on there, just preventative maintenance, and we can get it all bolted back up. Now we've got everything is coupled back up and everything's nice and tight. We're going to make sure that the ignition is on. Yeah, make sure the ignition is on. And what we're going to do is read our fault codes. I have cleared them already, but we're going to read them, and then you're going to clear them, and then jump around to basic settings, scroll down, and then you've got initial adaptation of the charge, air pressure, actuator. You want to click that and let the vehicle do its own motions. Now when I put the ignition on and off, I have put a blue line there so you can see it moving. It should be working pretty much perfectly. And we've got no noises there now whatsoever. Now as I explained earlier, that this vehicle is having an oil and filter, so before we get on the key and give it a big start, we're just going to get this oil filter spun off, go underneath, drain it, and put a new filter and oil in it. Very basic. And there we go, with a little bit of magic now. That car's had an oil and filter. We've got it off the ramp now. We're just going to take it down the road now for a little bit of a test drive. And there you go, now we're out in the car, we're just plodding along and the car's driving absolutely silky smooth. Now I am recording some live data as well, so when I get back I can give it a little bit of a check around here and make sure everything's working as it should. We just go along now, 4th gear, give it a big 4th gear pull. Absolutely perfect. Right, let's get back to the workshop. And there we go, after a little test drive now, I am more than happy with how this vehicle is performing. We've got no EML lights back on, and all our information is reading nice and correct. We've got an actual and a desired, and everything is matching up as per. But anyway, that is a little 1.2 TSI turbo wastegate actuator replacement. Anyway, let's get this